Okay, honey, it's game day. What's Dr. K cooking for our Colts game day today?
Okay, so you got to remember, this is all about teaching the snowman how to cook on a budget.
Right.
Because he likes to just slap things together and then he burns them or he whatever, and then he ends up going, we're going to have to order out. That's kind of our typical, because God love him, the man can't cook for you know what. So,
guilty.
Working on trying to teach him some basics. And since we're teaching him, might as well teach y'all too. So, today he decided that what he really wants is
vegetable beef soup.
There we go. A nice staple for a nice hearty meal that you can have on a game day. The good part is by the time we make this, it's really enough for the two of us to eat lunch and dinner for 3 days in a row. So there's 6 meals that we get out of it for 2 people. So basically the equivalent of 12 meals out of the stuff that we have on this table, and I'm going to talk about it here in a second. But it totally costs about $26 to $27 for all of the ingredients together.
Cool.
So, what we've got here is Winnie jumping up to join us on our table.
Well, hello, Winnie.
And we've got stew meat, which came from, most of this came from just Walmart. So we've got stew meat. We've got vegetable soup or vegetable sauce, which in this case I use tomato sauce. Mm-hmm. You can use multiple different kinds of sauces. It does not have to be tomato, but I like tomato in it.
Right.
But I also use beef broth. When I cook this and I brown it on both sides, and then we add beef broth to make sure that the meat gets nice and tenderized. Mm-hmm. And then we add a package of corn because, you know, we're Hoosiers and we really like corn.
It's
so
corn.
We got to do the sweet corn, and then we have mixed vegetables. Mm-hmm. Then I just happen to have some baby carrots. So we're going to add that into it. All right. And this is about $1 over at Aldi. Okay, so these things I just purchased today, and it was about $25 and some odd change. Actually, I can tell you exactly what it is because I got the receipt right here. $25.81.
Nice.
So that is for the meat, the 2 things of vegetables, and the 2 juices. That's it. So, and then this was $1 at Aldi's. Now the rest of this is all just staples that I have in the pantry. Mm-hmm. So I have not figured out how much I put in of these things, so I don't know the dollar amount, but the vegetable oil will probably be a couple teaspoons, and it's about $2. And then I use Himalayan pink sea salt, but you can use any kind of salt. And then we use the peppercorns that I grind up. I like fresh pepper in it, just because it gives it a little bit of extra oomph. But you can just use regular pepper. It doesn't have to be this kind. And then if you don't want to do your own vegetables, or your own, what are these things called?
Spices.
Spices, thank you. My brain went, bleh. Okay, so if you don't have your own spices or you don't want to do your own spices, you can use a spicy V8 juice, and that will have the spices in it, and you won't have to add it. I don't add a lot of salt because we try and be low salt in this household. So I add a little bit to the meat, and then that gets put away, and there's no more salt. But instead, I use cloves, sage. We're going to use some garlic powder and some cumin into it. Right. And then we also have some ginger paste. And all of this stuff came from Aldi. Again, they're about $1 or $2 per container, and it lasts for a really long time. So, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of oil in our pan. Do you need to come over here, or are you going to keep me from back there and do my back?
I'll stay back here.
Okay. So I am going to turn on to about a medium heat, and then we're going to put in a little bit of oil. Not a lot, just enough to kind of get on the bottom of the pan so the meat doesn't stick.
Right.
And then I'm going to come over here and get my stew meat.
Your stew meat.
My stew meat.
Stew meat.
And we're going to put the stew meat in. Pan is not even remotely warmed up yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put the stew meat in. because I don't like when it pops and crackles at you. By the way, when you're cooking meat and you put it into grease like this, a really cute way, a shortcut, that's the word I was looking at. It was cute because the cat was snuggling with you. Anyway, the shortcut way to keep the grease from popping is to put a little bit of salt in there. I don't know why it works. I'm sure there's some chemical reaction involved. I am not a scientist. I am someone that works with people, not things like that. Hi, sissy. What are you doing? I know you hear me talking, so you have to get in on the video. But I'm going to put a little bit of salt on it to help keep it from popping, and that's it.
All right.
That is the extent of my salt.
And that's the Himalayan sea salt.
It is. It's Himalayan pink sea salt. And I just like it because it has a different flavor than regular salt. But we get enough salt in our diet that I'm not worried about goiters or anything like that.
Right.
So the reason that you use regular salt, like the regular kind of like Morton salt or kind of that blue label salt that everybody sees, and I can actually show you if you need it. But all of it comes with, let me go ahead and get that. So, by the way, it is Morton's that I have. So it's got iodine in it. And iodine is something that all of us need in our diets because it stops from us from having a goiter, which is this growth that happens right here, and it's like the size of a softball or bigger, and it all comes into your thyroid, and so you need iodine for that. But we get enough salt in our diet from other things that I'm not worried about whether we're going to have enough iodine in our diet.
Right.
So I do have it. I do use it on occasion. I'm just not using it in this particular one, in this particular dish. So I don't know if you can hear it, but it's starting to sear.
Let it sear, baby.
So put in a little bit of pepper. And we'll do pepper on the other side once that's all ground down. So just gotta give it a minute and I'll stir it up.
All right.
Okay, now that everything is pretty much brown, just kind of wanted to show you what that ends up looking like. Meat, when you're cooking it, in case you don't do a lot of this, it does produce some liquids. Okay, that's what this is. It's the juice coming out of the meat, and we definitely want to retain that. So we're not gonna, a lot of times people will say brown your meat and then drain it. I keep all of this because it's got a lot of great flavors in it from the meat, as well as from the salt and pepper that we added in. Now this meat is still not super tender yet. It's just being browned. So if you're doing it and you think it's ready to eat at this point, no. It is raw inside. It is just browned on the outside. So the next phase of what we're doing in this case is actually adding in our raw carrots, because they're going to take quite a while to cook. And we're going to put in the, excuse me dear, that's what happens when you get into my kitchen while I'm cooking, is get out of my way, dude.
That's the rule, but she's allowing me in today to show you this.
Anyway, we put in our beef broth that is, again, this was not intended to be a name brand thing. It can be any brand. It just happens that I grabbed the Swanson because I'm making this right before Thanksgiving, so beef broth is on sale. If it's the name brand stuff. The other thing I like about having this is like having a towel wearing me, so you can just do this while you're cooking. That's why I like aprons. You don't have to worry about a towel. It's just right here on your belly. So the beef and the carrots are in here now, and I'm just kind of stirring them up to make sure that they're all coated with the juices. And now we're, see, another reason why you want to do that is because, you know, it can be messy. But anyway, we are going to be letting this simmer on medium for, well, it's not simmer, it's really cook. Simmer is a lower temperature. But anyway, we're gonna leave this on to cook for about 20 minutes in the covered pot. And then we'll come back for the next set of putting in our spices. Once we have all the spices in and we like the way it tastes, the next thing we'll do is add the vegetables because they're frozen, they're already cooked, so they cook super duper fast. So you do not want to add that in, otherwise they're just like chewy mush. So you don't want to add those in until you're really close to the end. Once this is done, then we will find that adding in the tomato juice just gives a little bit of extra oomph. And that's what we're looking for. So see you back here in about 20 minutes. Okay, so we got a little busy and lost track of time, so it's actually been a little bit longer than 20 minutes, but Mr. Snowman did get the, hey honey, go stir that command. Yeah. So he did stir it at 20 minutes, so it's still doing okay, and the carrots are feeling about halfway right now, so you can kind of squish into it. Can the camera see that at all? Or it can kind of squish into it a little bit,
yeah,
but not go all the way through it. So that means that the carrots are about halfway done, which is about what you want at this stage, because we still have more time for things to cook, but this is about the stage we want it at right now. So it's doing perfect. Next, I am going to watch behind you.
Oh, sorry about that.
So next I am going to be working on my spices. So I put a little bit of my ginger paste in, not a lot, but I do like some ginger in there. I like a little bit of spice, and ginger gives you a little bit of kick. So it is going to be a little bit spicier than some folks like, but we like our spices in this house. So
we do.
Well, I like him and he adopted. So, you know, it just is. And there's just not a lot of, this is my organic garlic powder, and there's not a lot left in here. So there you go. That's how much garlic powder.
Oh, there you go.
So there's that. And then this is cloves. So again, I just kind of eyeball it, put some in there. And then this is our cumin. And again, this is something that is kind of sparingly. You don't put a lot in because it's a pretty intense spice for this dish. It's pretty intense. And then sage. I like my sage, but this is a brand new bottle, so I got to open it really quick. And of course, I dumped it, so it's on the floor. But there we go. A little bit of sage in. So now we've got some good spices going. And we will be stirring that in. Once that's all incorporated, then I'll start working in the frozen vegetables and our tomato juice. So, stir this in. Are you following all this, Snowman?
Yes, I am.
Okay, are you sure?
I am.
Okay. Alrighty. Oh, that smells so yummy.
Delicious.
And this was just at a roiling boil. Do you know what that is, Snowman? Do you know when
rolling
I say
boil?
What does that mean for you?
You started at one temperature, then you rolled it down even more, then you rolled it down a little more.
Okay, so a rolling boil actually means it's bubbling up. It's like rolling the stuff in your pot. So I just think of it's rolling. Okay. So it's a rolling bubble. Okay. That's when somebody says, or if a recipe says a rolling bubble. Gotcha. That's what you want. So you don't want it on high where everything's popping and snapping at you. You really just want that rolling bubble. So kind of on a medium temperature is typically where you get that rolling bubble. So next up, we are going to be putting in our frozen veggies. Okay, do you want to see this? This is kind of a simmer. See those little tiny bubbles?
That's the rolling boil.
This is more of a simmer.
Okay.
So when the whole pot is doing this and the bubbles are actually kind of rolling the food, that's that rolling bubble. This is more of a simmer, where it's just kind of there and just kind of little bitty bubbles, but they're more in the center. That's more of that simmer. I think of simmer, center. So it's just a way for me to remember those kinds of things, because I like being silly about stuff. So
it works.
there is our frozen corn, because, you know, Hoosiers.
Yes, must have corn.
And lots of it in a veggie soup.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have that.
Yeah. And now we're going to throw the garbage away because I cannot stand garbage sitting out. So now I'm going to do a quick stir. And it is thick now because it only has that little bit of juices from the one container of broth. That's the only, you know, really liquid that we have. So this is very thick, very hard to stir right now.
All right.
But I like giving it a quick toss at this stage, because if you try and do it where you're going to add the tomato juice here in a second, if you do it after, or I'm sorry, if you do it before you have stirred, then it's entirely possible that it will just hit those frozen veggies and splatter. Guess how I know.
Yes.
So instead,
you speak like you've done that before.
Only a time or two. Only a time or two. So I'm just trying to give you some quick tips, some hints of stuff that someone that's been in the kitchen for a long time, this is what works for me. It may not work for everybody, and that's okay. I'm just saying this is what works for me.
Understood.
This is, you know, Mrs. Snowman's take on the how do you cook. So,
all right.
Okay, the next thing we're going to do is, I've already opened my can. You can put the little tiny notches in it to do it. I'm going to use the whole can, so I just open it. The thing you do want to know about tomato juice, though, make sure you shake it, because tomato juice has all the particles of the tomatoes and it settles. So whether you get it in a jar or in a can, make sure you shake it. Even if you're doing homemade, you will get particles that will settle. And so you always want to shake it. So regardless of where you get your tomato juice, make sure you shake it. Again, this particular brand is a Hoosier brand, so not saying this is always what you have to have, but this was the cheapest at Walmart because it's made here. So
I've had that a few times before.
The tomato juice?
Uh-huh.
Or just tomatoes from Rose Gold?
Both.
Okay. So they have lots of products, but you know, it's an Indiana company, so it makes sense. And now everything is being stirred together.
Uh-huh.
It's all incorporating all of those flavors and smells and visualizing everything. Oh my gosh, this looks so yummy.
Look at the deliciousness of that.
Say that again.
Deliciousness.
Uh-huh.
the pure, unadulterated deliciousness.
Or whatever it is.
We got a new word.
So what we're going to do with this is actually turn it down.
Right.
And let it cook again, making sure that it's really down to that simmer level.
Right.
And we're getting, oops, look, see, it dribbled.
Look at that. It did dribble. Right there.
The spoon dribbled it.
Right there.
But you know, it's your fault.
No, it's not.
Because you're filming me. If I was doing this without being filmed,
I'm over here and that's right there.
I know, but it's always your fault. So therefore, in case you didn't know, there are house rules. House rule number 1 is I'm always right. House rule number 2 is he has
the
particular
man part.
body parts, and therefore it's always his fault. So therefore, you know, it doesn't matter what happened. I will find a way to make it his fault. So even though technically I did it with the spoon, it's really his fault, because if I wasn't sitting here performing for a camera, I wouldn't have made the mistake. So therefore it's his fault. Okay, and now that everything has been stirred together, been incorporated, we are going to, that's a little too hot to pick up. So I always have a mitt around. This, by the way, is a cast iron pot. I love these things. It's just a painted, basically, on. It's got ceramic on it, but it's a cast iron pot, so it's super heavy, but it holds heat really well, and it distributes it really well. And The good part is you can cook on the stove and you can put stuff in it and bake it in the oven. So
which we have done.
I do that. I do it a lot with this, like pot roasts and things like that are really good in this pot. So if you're considering, do I get one? Do I not? Is it worth it? Is it not? But you're only going to have 1 or 2 pots because you don't really need a whole lot of pots if it's a small household. Like it's just you and me that are going to be eating most of this food. So that's why we're trying to do the cook on a budget thing. But this is a really good investment. And to be honest, I bought it at Aldi, so it wasn't even super expensive.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's a good, I think it was like $20, $17 for this pot. So yeah.
Look at that. $20 for that investment, folks.
Yeah, it's not a super expensive one, but I like it. It feels very quality. You can feel it when you pick it up. It's heavy, and it is a cast iron skillet. Or it's cast iron
pot.
Thank you. Too much talking at once. Anyway, so that's what we got here, and it is a good investment if you're thinking about it. The other thing I really like in my kitchen is this really long spoon. It's really good for doing soups. It's also really good for using in a pitcher. But again, these are kind of expensive, but we've had this for a very long time. This one's been around long enough that it was actually used to help with behavior modification on one of the children. The youngest one had this one used as behavior modification. So it's been around the house for a very long time. I've had this particular spoon for, 15 plus years. Probably closer to 20 years at this point. But a really good hefty spoon will serve you for a very long time, and it is worth the investment as well. So just a couple of tips while you're considering what to do, where do you spend your money, what's worth it, what's not. While you're in the kitchen, there's a couple of ideas. So we're going to let this simmer for 20 to 30 minutes to make sure all of the ingredients are getting incorporated and everything is really gelling together. Just letting it sit and simmer. And to be honest, most soups are even better the next day. Kind of like chili.
Yep.
Chili is much better. I mean, it's good when you first have it, that first day. But man, that second day, just because it's all those flavors are together.
Like when we cook chili on a Saturday and then eat it on Sunday during game day.
Exactly. So this will serve us for dinner tonight, which is a Saturday, and then we will have it for our Sunday lunch watching the Colts game, and then probably after the Colts game as well.
So we're going to have soup in the Colts, right?
Exactly. I mean, that's what football's all about, right?
Soup
and yelling at the screen because, they're not listening. So.
And some reason she blames me for that, too.
Well, of course, because you're not calling the game right. If you were calling the game right, they'd be winning because they'd be listening. I don't know what your deal is, but anyway. Okay, see you back in a few minutes. Okay, and this, dear ones, is what you get at the end of all of that cooking. You get this very yummy, hearty soup that you then put a little bit of the juice in with.
Oh.
And if you're like us, you get you some crackers to go with it.
Yep.
And here we go. Everything is ready. Da da da.
Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this?
And there you have it. Some homemade vegetable beef soup from Mrs. Snowman to y'all. Have a great one.